Strive has kind of looked pretty good on that rise, and when you look across as well at the TF as well has been a big pick, but no surprises here with that Jinx coming in. Kaisa hovered here. Now, we have seen a lot of Kaisa AP mid starting to creep up in other regions. We know we've seen it in LCK. It started to be talked about quite a bit with this kind of poke heavy build. We'll have to see if that is going to be the call. Could also just be going down towards iBoy in the bot lane, but since we are still in 12-4, Jinx still has a lot of mana in her kit. Feels like you're going to get shoved in pretty heavily as this Kaisa if you are putting it into the bot.
If they're putting it into the bot lane, but we have seen Kaisa mid-base shenanigans. Now, I believe that's generally a 12.5 thing, but I'm pretty sure it's doable on 12.4. I don't know. I think it'd be surprising to see a Kaisa mid, honestly, at this point, but we'll have to see. It's still perfectly possible. Jiejie going with a comfort pick in this Volibear. I mean, this is comfort across the board. This is basically a Worlds comp.
Yeah, I mean, very much so, but I am always worried when I see these Graves locked in because Tryndamere is up and available. Cube could just take that into the top side, and you just look to have that really nice matchup. Even things like the Jiejie still available in the top lane if you want to go towards that as well. And you've got that bit of a range advantage there for Cube. But we'll have to see what the plan is. Jack's hover for the moment. It does mean that Leyan will be taking a step back into looking to take some bans here from EDG before he can pick up his own.
Yeah, really Jax as well. But maybe with bans, it can work out for them. Cube certainly the kind of player that can carry if the team sets him up. And a lot of that will be down to Leyan, right? Leyan has been really proactive in the early game. Like, I feel like Leyan is the early game for Rare Atom in a lot of situations. So with Cube on something that can be a massive carry in the side lanes, but also in the team fights, maybe a strong jungle pick for Leyan could set them up for success.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see a lot of them banned away here coming into this next rotation. Cromartie and Volley already taken off the board. Wouldn't be surprised to see the Zins out taken away. Maybe things like Sin. Even if you wanted like something that's a little bit more engage heavy, maybe they're worried about things like the Jarvan. But Volibear is a relatively good matchup into the Jarvan anyway. But we just have to see kind of what EDG are most worried about.
Yeah, that's it. Zhao, I mean, Lee Sin as well could be a good option to try and take off of the board. But the Xin Zhao really has been Leyan's standout, right? He's played that 10 times. Everything else is kind of, you know, between 5 to 2 picks. But he has a lot available. Leyan has been flexible. He's been more than willing to change his style. I mean, even that Rek'Sai has been quite a big pick for Leyan. So who knows where he'll go with this one. I mean, he's played 3 Kiana games this way. Like, genuinely, Leyan, I have no idea what to predict.
Yeah, and it looks like EDG kind of agreeing though here. Look, we're not really sure, but getting Strive off these picks that can roam around the map is the key protocol. So getting rid of the Rise, the TF, and the Ahri, now all taken off the board. I'm curious to see what the plan is. Strive going to hold on to his counter pick though. Leyan hovering the Viego. Either way, it will be the jungle lock-in. Now, if they're going to go towards an Italy, it does feel like they're very much going to be going towards that poke style, right? You've got the Kaisa we just talked about. You can go that build. But he is going to go back towards the Rek'Sai that you talked about, so maybe we get the more of the dive orchestrated team comp. I think that's why Kaisa kind of works in a lot of these scenarios, is she just does have that flexibility in the draft.
And they've literally locked in nemesis here. Kaisa and Rek'Sai, they're meant to be enemies, but they're working together in a bizarre twist of fate. It's going to be the Vex locked in though for Scout. This has been a very much comfort pick for him. And we get the Sett as well. That's going to be a Sett support for Meiko. I love that we're starting to see Sett support sneak back into the meta. I've seen it a few times now.
Yeah, especially against the squishier supports like the Nautilus, it can do really well because you're able to tank a whole or a lot of his upfront CC. Then you've got the shield that comes through on the Sett Haymaker, and you can just turn that damage right around. Nautilus, not a particularly tanky support, but we are going to see Strive going for this Viktor. So setting up kind of for a nice kind of split push, at least with the Jax, and then some good engage and some good early pressure coming through from Leyan to try and help Rare Atom coast into a strong mid game. Whereas you look across at EDG, I mean, they're all in on just getting into your face, right? Super short range comp apart from the Jinx, and they're all looking to get in on top of you with Meiko and Jiejie to try and set that up.
Yeah, I have to say, I was very surprised to see this Rek'Sai locked in, but like you say, the comp can definitely work, right? It can function as that dive composition. Even Viktor, like, you don't think of him as a dive champion, but he's got a lot of range, so he can quite often follow up on those kind of situations anyway. So, I mean, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if they can pull it off, because, again, I want to reiterate kind of the two styles of these two teams. It's EDG versus RA, and EDG's early game has actually been very good. And this comp from RA, at least in my mind, looks like they need to be proactive and they need to get a lead for themselves in the early game. I mean, I don't know if I'm just wrong on that one, Dagda, but whenever I see a Rek'Sai, I'm thinking early aggression.
Yeah, but it's not even just the Rek'Sai, right? Like the Kaisa as well, when you think of like how she scales relative to the Jinx too. So I am 100% agree. I think you've got a lot better scaling on the side of EDG. So I will be keeping my eyes on Leyan to see what he's able to do and what he's able to achieve in those early stages. I think the biggest fallback, at least for Rare Adam, is having that Jax on the top side. Like we'll just outscale the Graves, be able to take over in the side lane. So at least then you've got some pressure. But as we've seen, it's very hard to try and play these 1-4 style of compositions just because you kind of end up having to fight for dragons, for Rift Heralds, for Barons, oh my, and then you kind of fall into a bit of a pressure point where you're like, right, well now we actually have to try and deal with this late game Jinx.
Oh, squirrel deer thing though. Oh, isn't it cute? You know, it's not relevant to the game, but it's adorable, and I appreciate that. Thank you, observers. All right, EDG versus RA. Here we go. Big one for the standings. RA technically not qualified for playoffs just yet, but let's be honest here. They're probably going to make it at this point. They're 8-7. But a win here would be the difference between fighting for that 7th seed position. EDG stacked up right now, and it feels like RA might go for a late invade here. Yuyanjia going in. We've got a level 1 scrap, and Meiko with the Haymaker keeps himself safe.
Yeah, just leveling that up there at the last second. You tend to start with the E on the Sett, but definitely need that little bit of an extra shield there just to keep himself in check. EDG considering going for an invade on the top side here to get their own vision, but as you can see, Leyan is here in position.
Yeah, Leyan maybe needs to just back away though. Cube wants to help out. We've got a 2v2 at the top side. Leyan sneaking in, wants to see if he can find a smite. Oh no! Just going to go for his chickens while Cube 2v1s Leyan. I guess he's trying to get level 2, but it's not going to happen here. They've conceded the red buff. Jiejie moving over, but Leyan has pretty much already finished these Raptors off as we have a scrap question mark. I don't know. Jiejie is just trying to bully. He's just like, this is my jungle. This isn't even about the Raptors. This is about sending a message.
It really is. Although Yuyanjia getting that hook onto the bot side.
True damage straight back though. Let's talk junglers though, because Leyan now losing a buff should be set pretty far behind.
Yeah, I mean, especially because it's... Oh, wait, Leyan.
Oh no!
Oh no!
It's a disaster.
Oh, this is not the start for Leyan. Really good, smart job from EDG in the early stage. As you say, dealing with the red buff there. It's actually really crucial to the Rek'Sai as well, because it does give you so much power in these early ganks. The burn, the slow, and really helps out for the Rek'Sai and just kind of getting those early ganks to succeed. And for Jiejie, he's going to be able to farm his way right the way through his bot side camps and make sure that he's going to be totally fine. So yeah, Leyan being set behind early. And as we said, this is something that Leyan kind of needs to get the ball rolling early. So having this much pressure already put his direction is going to make that tough.
Yeah, it certainly will. I mean, tough is... I'm not sure if it's a strong enough word for the situation that Leyan is in, as won't be able to have those level 2 Raptors, as you say, but maybe can go for something on this bottom side. Hits level 3. The red buff is available on Jiejie's bot side right now. Bot lane from EDG resetting. At least there'll be a crab. I'm not sure Leyan can really go for an invade.
No, I think he'd be a bit crazy too, especially as you can see, reset for Viper here and picks up his call. So definitely don't want to have him coming off the back of that reset and being able to set things up. As I'm having a little bit of tech issues, so I apologize if I talk at the wrong time or I'm not seeing something.
That's okay. I forgive you. Well, I'm not having any tech issues right now, so I'll just let you know that Leyan tried to go for a bit of aggression on the chickens here, but Jiejie and Meiko move it in together. And I love this from the EDG bot lane. This is one of the things that I'm always complimenting EDG's bot lane for, is they're so intelligent. Meiko and Viper both moving into the jungle there, thinking, look, Leyan has nothing that he can do on the map right now. He's probably going to try and get something cheeky. We all just move in and make sure that can't happen together. So really good stuff to see. In the meantime, it's worth acknowledging this top lane as well, Rob, because look at that CS lead. Flandre is demolishing Cube at the start of this laning phase.
Which is kind of crazy, because usually we're saying, hey, look, Cube is the big guy who sets up a lot of these early plays, and it's actually going to get that attention from Leyan here, but Flandre reading it really well.
Yep. No mana, though. Decides it's time to finally head back to base. Cube has a really nice position in this lane, though. massive freeze as the blue minions will be stuck on the cannon. And Leyan begins his next clear, and this is where it gets rough, because I don't know, has Leyan actually revisited those chickens yet? I don't think he has.
No.
I'm pretty sure that's still just the first little chicken.
Yeah, so he's completely destroyed himself now, not clearing out that last chicken, and it's just really unfortunate, because it means now, like, he will spot it, but now that's still a level 1 chicken, so now you've got to wait 2 minutes and 15 seconds until you get the respawn, and yeah, Leyan is going to be super far behind when it comes to experience, and you can even see it on the when you compare the CS numbers for both junglers. Jiejie is just firing ahead, and again, Rek'Sai is a champion that hard falls off because you have to launch yourself in on this Rek'Sai to actually get any plays started. If you are behind, if you don't have levels, it hurts you so much more.
Yeah, I really wish we'd had player cams for that, because I feel like that would have been a Tyler 1-esque outrage over the chicken there as he finally discovers that he's been completely ruined. Jiejie hovering up towards this top side, toying with the idea of a dive up in this top lane. Flandre is about to hit level 6. I'm pretty sure Flandre hit 6 off of this wave, and in comes Scout as well. Oh, Cube, you're in big trouble. Flandre already using the ult, actually, because they're making the play beyond the tower, but Scout is here. Flash from Cube, it's answered by Scout, and it's first blood for EDG.
Hey, you're on your own moment.
Okay, no worries. Flandre onto the tower as well. It's going to be first blood with some bonus plates. Both solo laners managing to get some action, as well as Jiejie having an assist on that one. Strive at least will crash one wave in the mid lane, but it's not even a cannon wave, so feels pretty dicey for the side of RA here. Jiejie gets himself yet another scuttle crab. On top of that, Leyan feeling kind of out of sorts. Locked in the early game jungler, has a serrated Dirk, but needs to find a way to impact this game.
And this is what we talked about for EDG. They're so good at getting these early leads. Meiko now trying to roam up. I don't know if he even spotted Strive. Strive, wait, what?
Yeah, there's a stun going on here. It's fine. Everything's fine.
I mean, you just saw Leyan like walk past Meiko, and Strive was like, this is fine. I'm totally all right. Does have to burn the flash to get out of there, but again, like, I like this early pressure from EDG, and this is something that we talked about a lot with them, is how good they are at getting access to the map and making sure they can set up these early plays. Rare Adam, though, will actually move across and pick up this first dragon. This is what Rare Adam tend to move towards more so than the Rift Herald. In the last couple of series, Rare Adam have pretty much completely just given up Rift Heralds, instead trying to see if they can make plays on bot side, so I'm curious if we'll see a similar story this game.
Yeah, the opposite story, though, is the case of EDG, who have second place in the league for Rift Herald %. They absolutely love play towards that top side. And Scout is proving it, as for the second time this game, he shows up in the top lane once again. Not going to be able to get to Cube because that minion wave is there. But even still, the pressure that Cube is having to deal with this game is brutal.
Yeah, and I think this is the right call. I think this is what we're going to see a lot of teams do as well, is try and focus the top side. Strive, though, no flash.
Yeah, Strive caught out in the jungle. He has no mana either. The Chaos Storm does absolutely nothing. And that's just brutal. Flandre, in the meantime, has been caught at the top side. So, hey, at least there's a benefit here for RA.
Yeah, Leyan going incredibly low on that top side, but just about able to get the kill. So, 1-for-1 trade. The kills going over towards Scout, though, is going to help out a lot in Scout just being able to set himself up in this later portion. But we're just going to replay here on the top side. Flandre, you can see a lot of burst damage on this, on this Graves, but not quite able to get the kill that he needed. Now, as we said, Rare Adam haven't really had an interest in this Rift Herald, so not going to try and contest this. And honestly, with Strive being pushed out of the mid lane, Scout having so much control as well with the 2 kills already picked up, I don't think they would have been able to fight that regardless.
Yeah, would have been a toughie, but Scout and Flandre now just lane swapping. As Flandre's arrived in the mid lane, Scout is up top. And let's be honest, Scout with 2 kills, he's not exactly going to struggle against the Jax. I mean, how the hell does Cube impact that matchup? Anytime you jump in, personal space comes out, you get feared, you just get blasted, and Scout walks away. How do you function as a Jax in that 1v1?
But even the build that's coming through from Flandre, like going towards the Eclipse, he's not going towards the Immortal Shield Bow. He is all in on this early damage. He wants to absolutely destroy Cube in this early laning phase, and Cube is definitely going to find it tough. Does have the armor boots, though, to try and help himself out, so will help out just a smidge, but certainly I'm keeping my eyes on to see if Flandre can continue to just put pressure on Cube. And Cube, as we said, has been the standout performer, so the fact you're getting this pressure from EDG top is certainly them kind of doing their homework on how Rare Adam have been winning their games recently.
Yeah, and another standout performer has been the other solo laner, right, in Strive. And we were going to come in today and talk about Strive versus Scout. That was going to be one of our segments, but so far in this game, I mean, Scout has been super proactive getting around the map. He's only 10 CS down after all of that. As Cube now caught out of position, tried to go aggressive, used that counter-strike aggressively, and it means he will surely go down. One more auto from Flandre with an ult would do the trick. No, it won't. Actually, Cube, way tankier than I thought. Those boots paying dividends.
Also, Time Warp Tonic there.
Observer's looking for a rocket. We're not going to get it, though.
No.
Time Warp.
Yeah, Time Warp Tonic was the big factor there as well. Just getting that little bit of extra health coming through off the Cryptine pot. So, not going to go down. So, nice job, but that tower will still fall to Flandre. And I agree, like, focusing the solo laners for Adam does make a lot of sense. Strive, I think his laning phase has been a little bit weak, though. I think where Strive is kind of shown prominence is when he's able to get out roaming, and I think that's kind of been where he's really done well in these last couple of series, but unable to do so on the Viktor. A lot of pressure comes through from Scout, who's actually the one who is doing the roaming. It just feels like for Rare Adam, a lot of their game plan is starting to fall apart, and you're seeing that gold lead already opening up with 2,000 gold already for you.
Yeah, EDG, I mean, we said this already, right? Their early game is immaculate. This is a team that likes to have control of the map and likes to build themselves that lead nice and early on. They're third in the entire league for gold difference at 15 minutes. It's actually very clean. It's 999 is the average gold difference in 15 minutes. Very nice to look at. But it's 2,000 in this game in particular. And it's feeling fantastic because it's not like they don't scale well, right? You've got a Jinx, you've got a Vex. This team looks terrifying in the late game.
Yeah, they are so damn strong. And you can start to see now that they're going to put the pressure on to start forcing those late game fights. Dragon in 30 seconds. You've already got vision control completely set up. Viper has full push in bot side. It becomes nigh impossible here for Rare Adam to try and commit to this, especially when you look at like Leyan, a level down, doesn't even have his first mythic completed, where you look across at EDG, top and jungle already have those fully completed mythics.
Meiko going over here to protect the ward. Leyan, the target, just gets wiped off of the face of the earth. Doesn't even get a chance to ult, doesn't get a chance to do anything, and that's the power of a Sett right there.
Yeah, and especially just when you play this Sett, burning that flash at every instance you can is exactly how you need to play this champion. Like, make sure you can close that gap, because once you do, there's just nowhere for people to run to. You can see it there, Leyan taking down so fast. Dragon now going across, and EDG, this is far more confident. And especially when we look at what we said is the crux of the problem for EDG in a lot of situations, is Jiejie overextending. I personally prefer to see Meiko as that big engage tool. That's kind of what we got here with Meiko in the Sett. Jiejie as a secondary engage with the Volibear. You've even got Scout as well, who can also bring those engage tools. So for Rare Adam, it's trying to manage all three of these big tools right now to make sure that you're not falling prey to them.
And I feel like, you know, seeing Meiko on Sett just makes me happy. Makes me all warm and fuzzy inside, because I like seeing this guy on hard engage. I feel like he should rename himself to Meiko, because that way he's always locking in Leonas, he's always locking in Nautilus, he's always locking in this Sett, just flashing forwards and making the play happen. I love watching EDG when they have Meiko on a hard engage support. I hate it with her in general, I'll be honest, but it is what it is. Meiko actually managed to get that. Oh, he dropped the control. Okay, I thought that was still his sweeper. I thought he just somehow managed to pull that one off. As Jiejie moving up to the top side, there's no tower here for Cube, and Leyan finished his recall. Flandre trying to look juicy. Counter-strike is down, and Cube knows his time is up. This lightning comes from the sky. They don't actually have the damage to finish him off, though. I feel like they could have committed harder for that.
Yeah, I don't think they knew exactly where Leyan was. A little bit worried that he's going to come up towards this top side, but yeah, they end up backing away. And look, I'm not going to lie, Munch, I'm happier to see a bit of reservation coming through from EDG, because that's not what we've got in the last little while. When you are 2,500 gold up, you don't need to push the envelope that much. Like, just keep playing through your strengths, play towards that late game. Like, you're getting, you know, the Cube push back, he's falling further behind, you're getting more access to the map. The only thing I would like to say is I'd like to see EDG like using the fact that they have this to get vision control top side, get deep vision in this bot side. Now they're starting to move in, but Leyan needs to be careful.
Yeah, he's got some company here. Viper coming in through the Hex Gates as well. EDG don't want to let this blue buff go. The reset will come on through onto it. There is no Drake up right now. It's one piece on the Drake so far. Scout taking the opportunity to get some damage onto a tower here. Looks like EDG decide against forcing the play in the end. Strive will grab his blue buff, but Jiejie, Strive, you're in trouble, buddy. No, he's not. He knows what's going on. Sneaky little laser into the brush. He's spotted the play.
Flandre, though, is taking Rift Herald on this top side. Actually looks like Leyan might spot him, but just as that roar goes out as the Rift Herald gets taken. So Flandre kind of helping his team win out on the opposite side of the map regardless.
Yeah, and also should be able to grab this blue buff. So denying Leyan. And that's been the story of this entire game. Yeah. EDG have come in today, and they're just like, Leyan, you don't get to play today. We're going to do everything in our power to ruin your game. Prowler's Claw has been finished for Leyan, though. That's a huge spike for this Rek'Sai. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit nervous for Viper. If this whole EDG squad dives into the backline of RA, well, Leyan's just going to sprint at this Jinx.
Yeah, if Leyan can get onto Jinx, though, I'm going to be massively impressed. Because you look at, like, Scout, who's got the fear. Meiko, who's got that ult. Even Jiejie just has his own peel as well. But Meiko, need to be careful.
Yeah, he is under the tower. Haymaker can come out. There's a shield to save himself and pulls Leyan in. It's an easy turnaround at EDG now. Floundering on top of iBoy, trying to finish the kill, and Viper will do so. The hook to the wall. Yuyanjia gets out. But another double coming through, this time for Viper. And EDG, I mean, they just look immaculate.
Yeah, and this is a problem that I've seen with Rare Atom a lot, is they try to make these plays happen where they'll try and brute force their way into some sort of pick, but not respecting where EDG can be. And you can see there, Viper is already underneath the tower. Rare Atom go that bit too far forward, and point in case of what I was just saying about Leyan trying to go deep. You have so much peel. You have so many tools to lock up this Rek'Sai, and you can see here, right, no deep vision. They have no idea where the Jinx is. They just know she's reset. You don't even know where the Vex is either. She could be TPing back into mid. They try to go for Meiko, but again, Meiko, really nice job to, like, turn direction at the last second so the Rek'Sai pops out behind him and he can ult her back underneath the tower.
I mean, you can see that the team is just not on the same page as well. Like, Yuyanjia could have flashed to make the initial play, and it's iBoy that starts it with a Void Seed. Like, that's not how you start that one off. Shadow Surge is a bit wide from Scout, and that should be the end of this play on the top side. But yeah, on that last one, I feel like RA just really not quite on the same page. And that's scary because we're at the end of the split now. This is the last series for RA. They're moving into playoffs. They can't afford to not be on the same page on these simple kind of picks.
But that's what the difference maker is for RA. That's really what separates RA for me from a top team from kind of where they're sitting in 7th, 8th place, is their ability to kind of go, right, like, we are communicating properly and we are actually going to work as one cohesive unit. Like, you look at their last series, there was a moment where Strive on the Ahri had, like, rotated back to mid after the Rift Herald fight. Cube goes for the engage, not realizing the Strive is back, and even Yuyanjia now caught out of position. Like,
yeah, forced to flash. Cube goes in for this one as Flandre gets himself over the wall. Cube really wants it, but he's gone 2v1. That was way too deep. We'll be able to get out for his life, though.
Viper.
Luckily, Viper over the wall. Can he find the zap? No. Meiko can't follow up either. Cube does get away. Honestly, as much as we've said Cube has had pressure on him, look at his scoreline, man. I can't believe Cube is actually doing fine in this game.
And even on CS. I mean, that's the real kicker for me, because when we looked a little while ago, he was 20 CS down, but Flandre hasn't been able to keep up that pressure because of that initial tower going down. Flandre's kind of been like, okay, well, I can push in this wave. Cube just picks it up. He's able to get the Krugs off of the end most of the time, and he's just farming his way back into the game. So now you're going to see that matchup steadily change as well, because this lethality build is nice when you're up against someone who's super squishy, but level 11 hit with the Grandmaster's ult there for Cube means he's getting a ton of armor just innately off that build, and as well now with the not the Ninja Tabi, the steel-plated caps. They're just going to be so hard to take down this Jax.
Yeah, I thought iBoy had been caught out there, but just pops his supercharge and zips off towards the rest of his team. He'll be fine. 5-1 on the scoreboard, and still a sizable lead here for EDG. It's 4,000 in their favor. They've got 2 Drakes. Next one up in a minute and a half here. Baron will come onto the map shortly. And I do still feel like EDG are in a very strong, very comfortable position. But with a Viktor and a Jax on the enemy team, Cube's been doing a good job to weather the storm, as we said. And Strive has been farming up a storm. 220 CS at the 19-minute mark. Not too shabby. There is still hope for the side of RA that if things go a bit pear-shaped for EDG in the mid-game, which we have seen plenty of times in the last couple of weeks, there's plenty of opportunity for RA to sweep.
Yeah, I think the big point for Rare Adam here is like trying to get some vision control established already at these objectives. And that's really tough because the pressure EDG are putting down. But if you can find those flanks for Yuyanjia, Leyan, it just sets up really nicely for iBoy. And iBoy we've kind of like not talked much about in this game, but has the Kraken Slayer and that's rated Dirk, so he's actually going to be turning a lot of damage. And as you say, a lot of this composition is about setting up for that kind of, hey, can we assassinate the backline here? I think it's going to be really tough to pull off, but if you can pick off Viper, honestly maybe pick off Scout before that Zhonya's goes off, that's probably your best bet. But still, if you're kind of left too long in this backline, it becomes very easy for EDG to start to respond with the amount of CC that they have.
Yeah, Meiko trying to get some vision control here, and they will be able to spot that final ward. Yuyanjia drops a ward over, but realizes he's not going to be able to make that happen. Just trying to get the sneakiest vision possible, right? Ward in the pit, ward outside the pit, so one control ward won't deal with it. But again, as you say, it's so difficult for RA to actually push in and fight for vision control. All they can do is get 1 or 2 sneaky wards. That's the best that they can muster.
Yeah, I mean, who's ace checks on their team? Yuyanjia's not able to. He's barely only just completed his Aegis of the Legion. You're looking across at Cube, who kind of wants to be in those side lanes, so not really going to be with the team. So it just becomes hard for Rare Adam to actually contest this vision. And again, this is why we're saying Rare Adam needed to get the ball moving early, but EDG just shut him down so well early.
He just walked past the wall. Could have killed the control ward, man. But this entire game is about vision right now, and you're not going to clear the wards. Okay, he did actually go back. Just wanted to get his vision out while he could. I feel like I'm always a bit mean to Yuyanjia. But hey, look, on your point, it's difficult for him to face check, right? So it's difficult to get vision down. Back on top esports, Yuyanjia wouldn't have cared. He would have face checked anyway. This player has grown as a person across the course of the last couple of years. And he is a much better support than he was back on top esports.
Yeah, I will also say it's rather difficult to be tossed into a lane with Jiejie. Like, if you are just entering into the LPL, you're trying to learn the ropes, being put in with a guy who just wants to go in at any and all points in time is going to make that a rather brutal entry. And but
not just the lane, right? A whole team that has literally no respect for the meta or how League of Legends should be played. Like, it's a difficult one to adapt to. He might have been caught out in the jungle, but going to be able to get out to safety in the end. And this is a quiet one. This is a cautious one for both teams. EDG, it feels like they're a little nervous to push the envelope too far, and I can understand why, because that has been their issue. But Cube now pushed up a little too far in this bottom side. Scout trying to find him, but he snuck into that top brush and will be able to get out with his life. Drake is onto the map. This would be sole point for EDG, but RA want to contest.
But look at where the position is.
Oh, flashes forward. Oh my days, where did Strive go? Just gets one shot by Scout, and the rest of the team barrels in. It's an absolute bloodbath. EDG massacre RA.
And now they get the Dragon and they get the Baron. I thought that Rare Adam might have been able to go, right, we have split Viper from the team. We actually have a situation where we can set up a 4 versus 5, but they, again, coordination not there. Nobody really saying, hey, look, let's dive onto this bot side of the map. And EDG come out on top swinging.
Yeah, I mean, that was... it kind of came out of nowhere, and suddenly all 5 players from RA are in one spot and just get wiped out.
Yeah, I see here, right? Rare Adam, just commit to one direction. Viper's out of this fight if you commit down, but the problem is that they don't actually commit to one direction, so Strive ends up getting caught out while you have Leyan trying to force onto Viper in the top side, and this is kind of the communication, the coordination errors that we were talking about on Rare Adam. No one is really seems to be the big voice on the team. It's like, we are doing this, go this direction.
Yeah, and I have to say, pleasantly surprised by EDG this game, right? The mid game was the big question mark. Will they overforce? Will they try and just make a play somewhere and get punished for it? Absolutely not. This is a very slow, calculated game from them, and every play has been immaculate. Now, Scout with a Medjai's as well. 10 stacks on that one already. I just want to shout out Meiko in that last fight as well. He's pulling everyone together. Strive drops the Zhonya's. Will be able to flash out. The Zhonya's does keep him safe at the end, so fair play to Strive. Walks away with his life, but won't be able to protect this tower. This will be the second tier 2 going down for EDG, and in 3.5 minutes, they can threaten Seoul.
It's absolutely insane. Like, this is so clean from EDG. And delighted to see, as you say, like, just having this back, it feels like we've got the EDG of old, and especially with only a handful of days left before we run into playoffs. This is what you need to see from the teams. Rare Adam, now, how do you try and defend this? They've just got so much range over you on EDG side.
I love how EDG were literally about to die there. He saw Scout go for the Shadow Surge. Like, if that hits on anyone, he's going in. You just know it. There is no Vex that shoots this Shadow Surge without the intention of following it up. But they're going to be pressuring multiple lanes here. You can see Scouts move towards that mid lane while the siege continues up at the top side. Viper finishing that kill, or finishing that turret off, sorry. Actually flashes, or Gale Forces away from Yuyanjia. Going to be a Gravity Well as well. Yuyanjia will fall, and honestly, I'm not even going to get excited for these fights because I'm not sure there's anything RA can do. This isn't a war, Dagda. This is pest control.
It really is. And Rare Adam, I mean, EDG have them by the ropes. There's absolutely nothing that they can do, as to say. And I'm kind of sitting here like, I mean, what do I analyze? What do I say to this? It's just like, hey, they have Baron. You have no real way of clearing this out. And EDG are taking pop shots at you, shooting fish in a barrel.
Literally shooting fish in a barrel. They've got Graves to boot as well as a kill onto iBoy. And they're looking for more with the Shadow Surge forwards. But they don't get the reset for now onto Scout. And Scout with the double Sonya's keeping himself safe. A bit of personal space as well, as the shields are insane from this EDG squad. Meiko does go down to the Ignite in the end. It was damn close, but he does end up falling. Okay, TP behind the play. Here we go. RA want to turn this game around. Both solo laners flying into the action. Jiejie trying to escape for himself. He's going up to the top side, buying space for his carries here. He's playing Ring Around the Roses with RA, and he's saved the rest of his squad. Can he get to the blast code is the question. It's not even up. Jiejie, no ultimate available. He gets cut down.
Trying to see if he could get to the Hex Gate. He could see the finish line, but Jiejie couldn't quite get there. So it is a pick. Doesn't matter in the grand schemes, not massively. A minute and a half until that solo's up. You'll have Jiejie back up in 30 seconds, so he'll get there at a very comfortable pace. It may allow Rare Adam to get some vision control in their jungle, but you can see their base is in tatters. Like, it's so difficult to leave with the amount of super creeps that are moving in. And Jiejie, like, he could see the Hex Gate. It was right there, but Drive does cut him off, and there's nowhere for the bear to go.
Well played by Strive to see what was happening there, see where he was going, and play around that one. Meiko gonna be able to get himself a Scuttle Crab. Feels good for the support. 126 gold. That's more than most supports get in an entire game. So Meiko, a very rich man right now. And just look at these carries. EDG, man. 404. Mid laner not found for Scout. And it's 304 as well on Viper, who denies the reset. I mean, that's just not... Why? There's not even a purpose to that.
No, you got 30 seconds to the Dragon. They're just like, no, you don't get to reset on time. EDG now pumping in the damage to the bot side. It's the last inhibitor left. And I mean, this is already lights out for it. The only person I can look at is Strive. Rabadon's death cap completed. If you get this massive Chaos Storm at level 16, maybe you can, but you need like EDG to just kind of like put their feet up but kick back and just let that deal AoE damage.
I mean, we have seen that in mid-game fights from EDG. That's
is true.
series, so maybe iBoy just gets rinsed. Okay, well, that's going to be game, isn't it? EDG looking good here today against RA. Game number 1, absolutely smashing it. It's 28 minutes on the clock, and they finished all 3 inhibitors. They've looked immaculate. Both carries matching scorelines, almost matching CS even. The synergy is off the charts. The towers are disabled as Jiejie goes in to try and finish this game off. Scout flashes away to safety, and Shadow Surges back in. The fear across the team moves out as Viper cleans things up. Double kill for him and a bonus one for Flandre as well. It's domination from EDG.
16-3 EDG, just smack him. That wasn't even close. I mean, literally from the get-go, you get that invade coming through. They shut down Leyan. Then they just focus Cube. They then turn their attention to Strive. It was like, hey, you know, what is the game plan here for Ore? How have Ore won any of their series? Well, let's just systematically dismantle that at every step of the way.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't want to get too excited, right? This EDG versus a middle of the table team, but that looked like playoff EDG to me.
I mean,
that
middle of the table team
EDG.
against middle of the table, right? 7th versus 9th, they're not that far away.
but I guess what I mean is like, this isn't necessarily a top team, but they're up against. But EDG is looking like a top team again themselves, right? This felt like the world's EDG. This felt like the EDG that we got to see at the start of this split, where it's just clean, clear gameplay. They understand their plan. They make it happen.
Yeah, and I agree. I think for EDG, this was much better. And you could literally see how they changed. You could see the reservation, not wanting to take that step too far forward. And again, I think this is a composition that they're much more comfortable on, where Meiko is that big engage tool. Like, we saw the conversation around Worlds where, like, oh, you know, for Meiko, he's playing these Lulus, he's playing his Zillions. We're like, no, this isn't EDG. Don't base EDG on what you see right now. They get to playoffs, Leona comes back out, and they start to happen. So it really does feel like, at least for EDG, this is their comfort, where Meiko is kind of that main engage tool. You've got the follow-up from Jiejie and Scout if necessary, but you're not fully relying on Jiejie to be that one.
Yeah, that's going to be the big thing, is that we have these 2 engage tools and clear follow-up from the rest of the squad. The big question is, can EDG get the same result if they end up moving over to the red side now for game number 2, right? RA will have side selection for game number 2, and very likely will swap towards that blue side. So we'll see if things change up in this draft on whether or not we get something wacky coming out from iBoy. I mean, iBoy been playing things like the Tristana recently, a lot of that Zeri as well. So we'll have to see how things are going to change for game number 2. But as of right now, I'm quietly confident in EDG again. I feel like I needed this game, not even for EDG, for me in my heart, you know. I needed to see EDG playing consistently once again. We're going to jump to a break.